जी कैसे हैं। कैसे हैं सब लोग, ठीक हैं। जी आज स्पेस टाइम कर्वेचर से पढ़ना है ऑनवर्ड्स। बोले। ओके ओके देन वी स्टार्ट today's topic, space time curvature. As we have already seen in various situations that geometry of space-time is non-Euclidean, and this is because of the gravity, for sure. Wherever there is mass, there is gravitational pull, and the particles experience acceleration, and the geometry where the particles reside and move is not usual one, but a non-Euclidean geometry. Out of the many possibilities of such geometry that is defined by its curvatures, let's take one simple example: the surface of a sphere. So I assume a sphere is a spherical surface as an example for curvature. Additionally, I talk about a flat surface, the Euclidean geometry. To differentiate between these two, I talk about two of the characteristics. For example, I talk about a closed path of an arbitrary shape and a vector that is also called the vector field in an arbitrary direction is transported along the curve on the surface, and ultimately it arrives its initial position following the closed path. I find that the direction of the vector at the final position is not the same as it was at the same position at the start of the transportation. What about a similar closed path in case of a flat surface. In case of flat surface, when a vector is transported around the closed path and it arrives the initial position again, interestingly, the direction of the vector is the same. That also points towards the components of the vector, that in case of non-Euclidean geometry, the components of the vector are not preserved, whereas in case of Euclidean geometry, the components of the vector are preserved. If we take another example, or I would say a distinct feature of the non-Euclidean geometry, like between two neighboring points P1 and P2, if a vector is to be transported, there is obviously some change in the vector and its respective components. I represent it by a different direction. It depends on which path is followed when it was transported. Either you follow this path, that is little bit zigzag path, a complicated one, or this path that seems to be a straight one, or maybe this path that you like to follow to transport the vector between the two positions. The change in the vector and respectively in its components, it depends on the path followed. What about a similar transportation in case of the Euclidean geometry? If P1, P2 are two positions, and you think of a vector or a vector field, let's say, there could be a change in the vector, but if you follow one path or the other, the change in the vector and its components is the same. The change in the vector is the same. That is, it is independent of the path followed. It is independent of the path followed. The change is the same, whatever path you follow for the Euclidean geometry to transport a vector between two positions. Out of these two features, we are going to work on the second one, that change in a vector quantity following two different paths. For example, I talk about an arbitrary vector, let's say B. To represent its components, I use an index, let's say I or J or K, whatever. These are the components of the vector. It's covariant in nature. One of the change that we can immediately study means the first derivative with respect to the coordinates. Let's say x, k are all the coordinates of this geometry. But usually to represent the gravity and the curvatures, we need the second derivatives. And one simple example is the acceleration That is the ultimate signature of our space-time geometry. The acceleration is also second derivative of the space and time coordinates. So not only this, but there are other physical objects. When written in mathematics, we need the second derivatives. So let's talk about the second derivative of our vector, that is like partial 2bi over partial x k, and you need another derivative, let's say partial x n. What does it mean? It means in mathematics that first you differentiate with respect to xn coordinate, and later you differentiate with respect to xk coordinate. यानी ये सीक्वेंस ऑफ डिफरेंशिएशन है. अब हमने जो मैथमेटिक्स में इससे पहले पढ़ रखा है वो ये है कि इन पार्शियल डेरिवेटिव के केस में ये सीक्वेंस मैटर नहीं करता. दैट मीन्स this is equal to partial to bi over partial x n and partial x k. ये बात ठीक है कि ये सीक्वेंस मैटर नहीं करता. इट इज ट्रू, बट ओनली फॉर यूक्लिडियन ज्योमेट्री. Because till date we have been studying only the Euclidean geometry. So it is not depending on the sequence of the derivatives. But now we see it do depend. It does depend on the sequence for non-Euclidean geometry. So let's go for this. We think of a covariant vector. We have already its derivative. If you do remember, we write the derivative in terms of the vector itself, and it also depends on the change in the coordinates. Whatever you want to write LK, MN, whatever. And then the coefficient is the Christoffel symbol. So this index SL is balanced by the upper index. This index K is balanced by the lower index. And you have to put a I because of the index from the left-hand side. This equation we derived last time. But if you remember, last time we write it not as a delta, not as a partial derivative, but we write it for delta. इस तरह से हमने last time लिखी थी. Anyways, we have the same thing. Now we have to differentiate it when we write this part in the denominator. So let's do this. This is like partial bi over partial x k, for example. Okay, now you have to differentiate it second times. So how do you do this? In your book, it's there. You can easily see if it is first differentiated with respect to xk, then it is differentiated with respect to xn. So on the right-hand side, there are two terms, as you can see. These are the two terms. So derivative of the first, second remains as it is, first remains as it is, derivative of the second. So that is not an issue. For sure, this is very simple, straightforward differentiation. But this last part of this equation can once again be written into the Christoffel symbols. For example, we write it like this. Gamma M will be the dummy index because it is already balanced. You can see that this index this index L is balanced. So you can replace it by any other index if you like and if you need. So this index is also balanced. So we can do this by M. So similarly, we have written for M. Also, in the first term, if you see, this index L is also balanced here. So we replace it by M for symmetry. And then there is a Bm in the first term and Bm in the second term. So Bm is written outside. And then we have the first term is there. This Bm is outside. Second term is there that you can see gamma Lik. And then as we replace this, then we have the second term like this. Bm is written outside. So just arrange the expression a little bit and get it like this. And now, when we say this derivative represents one path followed, and then we change the sequence like this one, partial to bi over partial x k partial x n. यानी अगर हम sequence को change कर दें, physically it means that it is representing another path followed. So when we change the sequence, it means we simply have to interchange n and k. तो जहां कहीं n होगा वहां हम k यूज कर लेंगे और जहां k होगा वहां हम n यूज कर लेंगे. तो अपनी इक्वेशन को देखिए कि आप इस इक्वेशन को कैसे लिखोगे. ये k आप रिप्लेस कर दोगे n से, ये n आप रिप्लेस कर दोगे k से, ये k भी आप n से रिप्लेस कर दोगे और ये n भी आप k से रिप्लेस कर दोगे. Simply interchange n and k. And now comes the point that if these two derivatives are the same as like these are equal for the flat Euclidean geometry, then their difference is equal to 0. ये बात शायद आसानी से आपको समझ में आ गई है. अगर ये दोनों डेरिवेटिव सेम है तो इनका डिफरेंस 0 होना चाहिए. तो जब सेम है और डिफरेंस 0 है तो हम राइट साइड पे सब्ट्रैक्ट करके देखते हैं. आप नोट कीजिए, एक टर्म पॉजिटिव है, ये दोनों पॉजिटिव है, और उसके बाद जब हमने चेंज किया n और k को तो ये दोनों टर्म्स जो हैं ये नेगेटिव है. This one and this one, these are subtracted. So first derivative minus second type of derivative. So two terms are positive, two terms are negative. So if on the left hand side we see that bi comma and k is equal to bi comma kn. और आपको पता है कि कोमा किस चीज को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है. कोमा इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग द derivative. Nk, it means it is representing this one, and Kn, that means it is representing this one. This is equal. So if on the right hand side this thing is equal to 0, अगर ये 0 है for sure, तो ये किसको represent करती है? It represents the Euclidean geometry, or the surface is flat. And if it is not equal to 0, agar aisa hota, it is not equal to 0, then this is representing the curvature of the space-time. So one can easily now say that ab is mathematics ke baad aap keh sakte ho, it is a mathematical object. This mathematical object, I highlight this one. This mathematical object defines whether the surface is flat or not. If the surface is flat, then this object is equal to 0, and if this is non-zero, it represents the surface is curved. Let's see what is this object. This object is named R. With the Riemann, the mathematician, the Riemann actually worked on this geometry, and Einstein is going to use the geometry developed by the Riemann. So R is the symbol given to this object, and there are 4 indices used for such an object for a reason. अब आप नोट कीजिए कि किस लिए वो 4 indices और कहां पे यूज किए गए हैं. सबसे पहले हम I को देख लेते हैं. इट इज अ लोअर इंडेक्स. आप नोट कीजिए आपके राइट हैंड साइड पे I is always the lower index. Here, with this one, and in this one. And you know what does lower index mean? That the components, respective components are covariant. Second index को देखते हैं, M. M is always the upper index. As you can see, it's always the upper index. That's why with the R, we are using it upper index. What about K? Let's look at K. It's there, lower index. Here it is lower index. Here it is lower index. But in the second expression, this K appears in the denominator, not in the numerator. That's why this is also behaving like the lower index in the sense of balancing. In the sense of balancing an index, this is behaving like the lower index. And what about N? Once again, it's lower index here, it's lower index here, it's lower index here, but in the first term, N appears in the denominator. That's why it is also taken as lower index. और एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज और आप नोट कर रहे हैं, राइट साइड के ऊपर एक ऐसा इंडेक्स है जो लेफ्ट साइड पे अपीयर नहीं हुआ है, and that is this index L. And why it does not appear? It doesn't appear because in a single term, it is balanced by itself. जब कोई भी इंडेक्स किसी एक सिंगल टर्म के अंदर बैलेंस हो जाता है, तो वो डमी इंडेक्स है, उसको किसी और टर्म में प्रेजेंट होना नहीं चाहिए, because it is already balanced. So it does not appear in any other term. तो आप इसको रिप्लेस कर सकते हो P, Q, R, M, I, O, किसी के साथ भी आप इसको रिप्लेस कर सकते हो. And similarly here it is itself balanced. तो ये तो था जी वो मैथमेटिकल ऑब्जेक्ट. अब हम जरा बात कर लेते हैं कि ये मैथमेटिकल ऑब्जेक्ट बेसिकली है क्या. फॉर दैट वी आर गोइंग टू लुक एट द quotient law. I quickly revise. Quotient law tells me that if P is a tensor multiplied by an arbitrary quantity Q and equals a tensor R, then this arbitrary quantity Q is also a tensor. So that is like B M. It's a vector. What is a vector? Vector is a tensor of rank 1. That's why this is already established that it's a tensor. What about R? We do not know yet about R. So let's say it's an arbitrary quantity Q. So a tensor is multiplied by an arbitrary quantity Q. Let's see what does it result into. It results originally, पहले मैं original form लिख देता हूं, originally into B I comma MK minus BI comma KN. ये ओरिजिनल फॉर्म थी जो इससे पहले हमने यहां जिसको हमने कहा कि इनका डिफरेंस 0 है और ये दोनों इक्वल हैं, तो लेफ्ट साइड को हमने 0 कर दिया और ये दोनों इक्वल हो गए. लेकिन ये ऑर्डिनरी डेरिवेटिव, कॉमा रिप्रेजेंट्स द पार्शियल डेरिवेटिव, दैट मींस इट्स एन ऑर्डिनरी डेरिवेटिव. बट वी हैव सीन दैट the ordinary derivatives are not tensors. But the ordinary derivatives can develop another type of the derivative that are tensors. And what is that derivative? That is covariant derivative. How can we do that? An ordinary derivative into covariant derivative. So I would jump to that particular equation. That defines my covariant derivative and the ordinary derivative. Let's say it's this one. So which one? This one is the ordinary derivative, the partial derivative, and this one is the covariant derivative. यानी मैं यहां से यहां जा सकता हूं अगर मैं इस एक्सप्रेशन को स्टडी कर लूं. So I will transform my ordinary derivatives into covariant derivative. So I will use this expression. But as I subtract the two expressions, I find something very interesting, and that is that this will be cancelled out. This is going to be cancelled out. तो वो जो लास्ट टर्म गैमा की होंगी वो इन दोनों में से कैंसिल हो जाएंगी. So we will see that this difference is equal to this difference. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये ऑब्जेक्ट दोनों इक्वल हैं, ये दोनों इक्वल नहीं है. But when this is subtracted, the two gamma terms will be cancelled because we know that the gamma are symmetric in the lower indices. So that's why we can say this is cancelled. So what is this now? It's a covariant derivative. It's a tensor. What is this one? It's also a tensor. And difference of two tensors is a tensor. Just like difference of two mass is the mass. Difference of temperatures is the temperature. And difference of two vectors is a vector. So difference of two tensors or sum of two tensors is a tensor. So I can easily say that the left hand side is also a tensor. So look at this now. A tensor Bm is multiplied by an arbitrary object R, and it equals to a tensor. On the other side, the quotient law tells that this quantity R is also a tensor, and that is Riemann-Christoffel tensor, or simply the Riemann tensor. So we have developed a mathematical object that is a 4 indexed. इसमें कितने indices हैं? 4 indices हैं. A 4 indexed object, and that represents the curvature of my space-time. If this is 0, it is Euclidean geometry, and if it is not 0, then this is non-Euclidean geometry. So to differentiate between the flat and curved geometry, this Riemann tensor plays its role. Tell me, did you get this? Say yes or no. I need responses. I need many responses.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear.
No, these are just few responses. I need more.
Yes, sir. Yes,
एक
sir.
स्टूडेंट अभी और बोल रहा है. आप बोलना नहीं चाहते हो या आप बोल नहीं सकते हो? इसमें नहीं. No, 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 no. We say that the curvature of space-time is caused by the effect of the gravity. Is caused by the gravity. It is not going to give me the mass of the object. मास को हमने अपने थ्योरी में कंटेंट वाइज डिफाइन नहीं करना है. मास इन आवर थ्योरी does not mean the quantity of matter. That is very old-fashioned definition. Our definition in our theory of relativity is mass is defined as the disturbance in the geometry, the disturbance in the space-time structure. Greater disturbance means more mass. तो इसलिए हम उस कर्वेचर को मैथमेटिकली लिख रहे हैं जो कर्वेचर मास ने क्रिएट किया है. तो हम उसको क्वांटिटी में यानी किलोग्राम के सेंस में मैटर के कंटेंट को मेजर नहीं कर रहे हैं. हम मैटर ने जो अपने सराउंडिंग में स्पेस टाइम को डिस्टॉर्ट किया है, डिस्टर्ब किया है, हम उस डिस्टर्बेंस को क्वांटिफाई कर रहे हैं. इज दैट क्लियर नाउ? चलिए ठीक है. यहाँ से फिर हम आगे चलते हैं और इसी कर्वेचर टेंसर को जिसके बारे में हमें Number 1, there are 4 indices components of this tensor, and that is actually very complex to study this tensor. So we already suggested a solution. just last articles that there is a possibility that the complex quantities can be simplified. And what is that? The procedure is called contraction. So contraction tells that the rank of the quantity can be reduced and simplified, and number of components are lesser as compared to the original tensor. So for example, if we equate I is equal to M, then this is called one's contraction. And if we say K is equal to N, then it is become a tensor of rank 2, and then 2 minus 2, it would become a tensor of rank 0. That means we can write a scalar tensor, a tensor of rank 0, a scalar tensor. So let's look at the mathematical form of this, but in the next session of meeting. So I end it here and I start the new meeting. Welcome again. So students, we look at other simpler forms of the Riemann tensor. One form is the Ricci tensor. Ricci tensor is the curvature tensor of rank 2, RKL, and you know that how can we perform the contraction by equating the indices. This I and this I is dependent index. This M and this M is also the dependent index. That's why it's a tensor of rank 2. Similarly, this M is also the same one. That's why it's a tensor of rank 2. After the Ricci tensor, we can also define the scalar tensor when the two indices are again the same. It represents simply the tensor of rank 0. And ultimately, Einstein defined the curvature tensor of his own form, that is from the scalar tensor GKRKL. It's a scalar tensor, and another scalar tensor minus 1 by 2 GIKR. So that is the form of the Einstein tensor to represent the curvature. The curvature is actually the distortion of space-time, the disturbance of space-time. So this is mathematical formalism. Let's talk about on the curvature when we have the curves. So once again, for simplicity, we take the spherical curvature, and on this curvature, let's talk about two arbitrary positions. Let's say P1 and P2, and an arc joining them. आर्क आप किसी भी आर्बिट्रेरी शेप की बना सकते हो जैसे भी आप चाहते हो, and the vector is displaced along the arc on the curvature. So let's say that arc is this one. We have to study the vector transportation, an arbitrary vector transportation between the two positions, and we say that there is a change in the vector components. ये वो usually हम जो इससे पहले करते हैं. So if we have to observe that the change in the vector components should be as less as possible, as least as possible, then the very basic thing is that this arc, this curve, this path, whatever it is followed, it should be the straight path and it should be the shortest distance between the 2 points. तो ऐसा पाथ आपकी नॉन यूक्लिड जो स्ट्रेटनेस को भी शो करे और शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस को भी रिप्रेजेंट करे, that has the characteristics of shortest distance and straightness. So this arc or this line or this curve is known as geodesics. तो जियोडेसिक्स आप सिंपली कह सकते हैं कि आपकी नॉन यूक्लिडियन ज्योमेट्री में वो पाथ्स हैं, वो कर्व्स हैं जिनमें प्राइमरीली स्ट्रेटनेस और शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं. द कर्व्स ऑफ द स्ट्रेट कर्व्स ऑफ शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस. द स्ट्रेट कर्व्स, अब ये भी बड़ी अजीब सी बात है ऐसा कहना, शायद फर्स्ट टाइम हम ऐसा कह रहे हैं, द स्ट्रेट कर्व्स. तो कर्व का हमारे पास कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि जो टेढ़ी मेढ़ी चीज होगी हम उसको कर्व कहें, लेकिन हम अपनी ज्योमेट्री की बात करें. इन दिस ज्योमेट्री द स्ट्रेटनेस, व्हाट डज स्ट्रेटनेस मींस, अभी हम उसको मैथमेटिकली देखते हैं, एंड ऑफ द शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस. दीज आर कॉल्ड geodesics, and the field that studies this type of geometries, this type of paths, the field is called geodesy. ऐसे field को आप geodesy बोलते हैं. चलो, first thing is straightness. What does straightness means? That is, as you move along the path, as you move along the curve, the tangent does not change. This is the tangent at this point. This is the tangent at this point. So the tangent vector does not change. So let's see what is the tangent vector. We have already defined if the coordinates are xi. याद रखें, आप भूलेंगे नहीं, xi is representing x0, x1, x2, x3 and so on. जितने भी आपके डायमेंशंस हैं उस ज्योमेट्री के, उसको आप xi लिख रहे हो. This is function of an arbitrary parameter lambda. So dxi over d lambda represents the tangent vector, let's say ui. So if this is straight, the condition is that ui should not change. The tangent should not change as we move, as we go, as we transport the quantities along the curve between the points of the lambda and lambda plus lambda. So what is this? अब देखते हैं कि चेंज क्या होगी. चेंज इन द टेंजेंट इज डेल्टा ui, और ये टोटल चेंज है. इसको हम ऑलरेडी लिख कर भी आए हैं, बहुत दफा हम इसको पढ़ भी आए हैं. आपने देखा हमने इस डेल्टा एक्सएल को ट्रांसपोर्ट भी किया, इसको चेंज किया था. हम कर भी सकते हैं, ये देखिएगा, हम इसको फिर लिखते हैं इक्वेशन को. dxi is ui and d lambda, and let's write it in another way. Delta x, because I is being used on both sides, so you can say if it is L, then this is ul and d lambda. Okay, so this is replaced here, ul d lambda, or delta lambda लिखना चाहिए actually. So this is delta lambda. तो फिर आप देखेंगे कि ये डेल्टा लैम्डा फर्स्ट टर्म में भी है, सेकेंड टर्म में भी होगा. So this is taken common. So you have du over d lambda plus gamma I k l and uk and ul, and what is common? This is delta. That means change in the tangent vector must be zero if the curve qualifies for geodesics. तो अगर ये कर्व जियोडेसिक्स है, ठीक है, तो फिर इसमें स्ट्रेटनेस है, और अगर स्ट्रेटनेस है तो टेंजेंट वेक्टर का चेंज मैथमेटिकली जीरो होना चाहिए. इस डेल्टा लैम्डा को आप यहाँ डिवाइड भी कर सकते हो, and then eventually this should be written only the term within the bracket, and then we have it like this. So that is the first condition of the straightness. यानी कोई भी कर्व अगर स्ट्रेट कर्व है तो उसको ये कंडीशन को फॉलो करना होगा. तो जियोडेसिक्स की पहली कंडीशन. जियोडेसिक्स की दूसरी कंडीशन क्या है? सेकंड कंडीशन इज द शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस. So let's talk about the distance. If you remember, we write the distance in squared form by ds square. हमने बहुत दफा लिखा. This is g I k dx I dxk, but don't worry about I and k, because you can see that both the indices are balanced in this right hand side. That's why if it is gmn, you can write dxm, dxn. Okay, accordingly you can set the indices. So now our parameter is actually lambda. Okay, so if the lambda changes from lambda 1 to lambda 2 while going from p1 to p2, then our parameter is lambda. So we have to integrate it with respect to lambda. So we write the lambda square here and the lambda here and also a d lambda here. Okay, so we have to first take the square root on both sides. यहाँ हम इसको 1/2 लिख देते हैं, और जब स्क्वायर रूट लेंगे तो ये डेफिनेटली स्क्वायर कैंसिल हो जाएगा, और उसके बाद आप इंटीग्रेट कर लो. So look at this. This is the left hand side. Integral of ds is s between p1 and p2, and right hand side